Welcome to the Road to Home Ownership. I am Marissa Jubis Cruz with the Rise Miami Group at Keller Williams Capital Realty. I'm accompanied by Christopher Silvera from the Van Dyke Mortgage, and we are looking forward to sharing with you a little bit of knowledge of how to succeed in this current market. It is a very competitive market. It is definitely a seller's market. However, interest rates are very low and will continue to rise from here. So it's a great opportunity for buyers as long as you're willing to be aggressive and go after the house that you want. We're more than happy to help you get what you need. So here's Chris to introduce himself, and I will be joining you in a few minutes. We're here to help you in any way that we can to get you the home that you want to buy in Miami and Broward.
Hello, this is Christopher Silvera with Van Dyke Mortgage, and we're about to go over the road to homeownership. So if you guys follow along, you'll have everything you need to know about pre-approval to closing. So I want to start by going over who we are as a company. Van Dyke Mortgage handles HUD, DE, VA, USDA, Fannie Mae and Ginnie Mae, seller servicers, licensing in over 35 states. We're a full service mortgage banker, not a broker or a correspondent lender. We fund closings with our own money. We underwrite files to our own guidelines. In 2020, we closed $1.5 billion in volume, which is a record for the company. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the pre-approval process. It's a lot of information, but of course, working with your realtor and myself will be able to walk you through this very complex stage of the entire process. So pre-approvals are necessary to find the perfect home within your budget. So what we're going to ultimately be focusing on is your credit worthiness and your capacity in terms of payment and cash to close. So the first thing you want to do is interview with me, so that way I can determine what kind of program might be a right fit for you, and also what to expect depending on certain hurdles that we may discuss on this interview. Most pre-approvals can be completed in as little as 20 minutes, but that does not solidify your actual qualification. So with that being said, we need to definitely require that you provide documentation. So it will take a little bit more than 20 minutes to solidify the approval, but it is definitely worth it. And again, I will be walking you through it, and your realtor as well.
Hey guys, and so to talk a little bit more about pre-approvals versus pre-qualifications, it's really, really important to know that even if you want to keep your things private and you don't want to, necessarily like put everything out there, it's the only way to buy a home. So we definitely need you guys to get pre-approved, not pre-qualified. Right now, the market is hot and you need to be competitive and aggressive. And once we go out to look for a home for you, it is really, really important that we show up with a pre-approval, because you're gonna fall in love with a house and you're gonna wanna make it your home. And we can get it for you, and we can be super competitive as far as the way we write our offer, and we have the experience and the strategies to have you have the very, very best chance possible to get that house. If you don't show up with a pre-approval, you are not going to get that house. And the time to get that pre-approval is right now.
Next, we have the official pre-approval process. I touched on the documents that I would need, but we're going to be going over them in a little bit more detail in this slide. Pre-approval process entails gathering all documentation, being the most up-to-date documentation, an online application, which is included on that list of documents. We're going to review the credit, review the documentation that you provide, and cross-reference that with our lending guidelines. What we're going to be looking for on your credit report. We're going to be looking for identifying information, your name, address, social security number, birth date, etc. That also includes any past addresses, any alias names that may come up. Trade lines. Trade lines are credit accounts. Okay, information about open credit card accounts, including type of account, date, limited or amount, and balance, and payment information. Inquiries. Past credit inquiries over the previous 2 years are going to reflect on your credit report, and public record collection items, public information from local and state governments and from collection agencies. What is not going to be on your credit report? Your age is not on your credit report. Salary and employment information is not reflective on your credit report. Your race, gender, marital status, interest rate information is not on your credit report. Neither is child support or family support obligations. Now, this does not include child support collections. This is not going to come up on your credit report if you're making your regular payments to child support or family support. If your child support or family support is in collection, it will come up on your credit report and we will have to address it depending on your program. Then we have rental agreements and whether or not the individual is in credit counseling. None of these items are going to come up on your credit report. What makes up your credit score? This is the number one question that buyers always want to know. And it's very simple, but complex at the same time. So what's going to make up your credit report? We have a FICO score. Payment history, your amounts owed. These are things that definitely impact your credit. Whether you have new credit or length of credit history being a seasoned credit. Then you also have our credit matrices. The number of credit cards, mortgages, installment loans, rental accounts, anything that might come up or that was recent to the accounts. Defining the score in today's market. It's always relative. You ask a client, do I have a good credit score? Is it bad? My credit's not that great, or it's phenomenal. Everybody has a different opinion of what good, great, or excellent means. This is what we're going to actually break it down as based on what lenders are looking for. So if you're between a 760 to 850, that's the best credit that the lender's going to get. Then we have 721 to 740, that's great credit. Then you have 680 to the tier of 720, that's good credit. We then have 640 to 679, you're okay. 580 to 640, maybe. Less than 580, forget it. Unless we go the extra mile and identify how we can bring your credit up, this is what we're working with. Employment history and income is going to be part of the pre-approval process. So our requirements are 2-year employment history, self-employment, commission, part-time jobs, gap of employment, bonus income, overtime income, and your other sources of income such as Social Security, VA disabilities, and child support if you do receive any of those. So with more complicated cases, we need more documentation at times. For example, if you're a self-employed borrower or you own multiple properties, that will require additional documentation compared to the typical straightforward W-2 pay stub employee. So here's some things that you can think about. What monthly payment can I afford, including taxes and insurance? How much am I able to come out of pocket to put towards purchasing a home? And the last question, and it's an extremely important question, am I stretching myself too thin? You have to be realistic when it comes to setting expectations for your monthly payment and your cash to close. Number one, as a buyer, your expenses better than myself or your realtor will know. So if you feel that a monthly payment of XYZ amount is going to exceed what you're comfortable with paying on a monthly basis, including and taking into consideration your existing liabilities and debts, then it may be smart to be more realistic and set expectations for a lower, more comfortable payment. Same thing applies to your cash to close. So with your buyer's purchasing power, mortgage interest rates have been on the rise for the past few weeks.
Hello, I'm Marissa Cruz with the Rise Miami Group at Keller Williams, and we're very excited to put this together so that you really know what you're doing. There's so many people interested in buying right now, partly because of the interest rates, partly because they've been cooped up and they know exactly what they want in their home. Many people are moving in, but the demand is real. So when you think, oh my gosh, the prices are so high, let's wait till they come down, you're going to be waiting for quite a long time. And then you're not going to get what you want and you're going to be paying a lot more for it. So it's worth going through a little bit of difficulty right now to get your house. But I want to kind of go through and tell you the reality, what's really going on so that you can get the house that you would like. Okay. So now, Chris just explained about being pre-approved. It's extremely important that you get a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification. Don't worry about waiting for that. If you don't get a pre-approval, they're not even going to consider you at all. So we need a pre-approval ready to go before we go out to look. Okay. So you're pre-approved. So now what do we do? So we get the criteria from you where you want to live. We have the pre-approval, so we know your budget. And it's, how many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you like? Where do you want to live? Are school zones important for you? Where do you not want to live? We figure all that out with you in a buyer consultation, and then we're going to start searching for properties currently on the market. So I'm going to send you, either I or one of the agents on my team is going to send you the properties that are on the market that meet your needs. Now you need to jump on that right away. Why? Homes in Miami and Broward are going under contract immediately. I mean, the same day or the next day sometimes. So you need to be, ready to go and know that, you need to look at whatever we send you right away and be ready to start searching already with the pre-approval letter in hand. Okay. So then you're going to say, yeah, I like this. I like this. I want to see this. Okay, great. We go see it. And then when you find a home that you're interested in, we will work with you to create the offer. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that. Okay, so we're going to put an offer on a home. So this is when you will create an offer to submit to the seller for acceptance. We will create that for you. It's going to include the sales price you want to offer, the closing date, the escrow or deposit amount, and how many days for inspection. I am not going to paint a rosy picture. If there are other people or agents out there lying to you, I will not be that person. I'm going to just tell you how it is right now. You have to, in order to get a house, you probably are going to have to put about 15 to 20,000 over asking price. You are probably going to have to guarantee that you would pay $10,000 to $15,000 more than the appraised value of the house up to the purchase price that you're suggesting. And you're going to have short days of inspection, maybe 5 days of inspection right now. Now we have inspectors ready to go right away, so that's not an issue. You're going to have to put a good, healthy deposit, probably not more than usual for the deposit, but don't think for a second that you're not going to put a deposit and you're going to be okay. And you have to be a little flexible on closing dates. So we can find out, well, does the seller need a few extra days because they haven't found a place to go to yet? Or is the house vacant and maybe a short closing will probably get that offer? We're in a multiple offer situation, sometimes sight unseen, meaning they have not seen the house. And it's important that you are aggressive and that you understand before we even start this process, what is going on in the market. Now you say, well, I don't want to overpay for the home. Well, what's going on is real demand. This is not inflated. This is real demand. We have millennials coming of age and needing homes. And that's real demand. We have people moving in here. Why? The state of Florida does not have state income tax. That's very attractive. Also, if things close down, we have beautiful weather. So it's not like if you live in the Northeast and things shut down and it's cold out there, you're not going to sit outside in your balcony when it's freezing cold out in many other parts of the country. People want to go to a place that's nice and sunny and they can be outside in those situations. Also, there's a lot of demand coming from the Northeast, moving down, and a lot of those people have cash to put down. So that is, there's just a lot of competition and a lot of interest in Florida that is not going away. And with COVID, a lot of borders have been closed. So we don't have as many people coming in from other countries to purchase. The moment things open up more internationally, as they're starting to do now, you're going to have an influx of buyers coming in from other countries. That is more than we've seen. We've had a lot of domestic purchases. So that's coming too. So it's definitely, the prices are continuing to rise. Now, the demand is real and the interest rates are continuing to rise slowly but surely. And it will, it will level off. So right now is a great time to buy. You just have to be prepared for this market and that you need to be aggressive. This is not the time to ask for the seller to pay closing costs. They don't have to. There's too many offers. Anytime I've had a home to sell, I've gotten about 10 offers at least. That is the situation we're in. Okay, so negotiations and counter offers. So as you put in an offer, that can be just a starting point, and the contract, it's a contract, so things are negotiable. However, keep in mind what I just said about the market and how it is. The seller's going to come back possibly with revisions. If you are lucky enough that you're the one whose offer they accept, and we will do everything and use all of my 16 years of experience of knowledge of writing contracts to help you be that person, as long as you're willing to be aggressive. The seller still may come back with revisions to the proposal. Yeah, they really liked your offer best, but this one is attractive also, and can you do this? So that could happen. Now, you don't have to accept their new proposal. You can counter their offer. It can go back and forth until you agree, but it's not going back and forth so many times right now. This is a very much a seller's market. If you do have a house to sell, you're going to do really well as well. It's a matter of just knowing what you want and going after it in this market. You can buy a house, you just need to be aggressive.
Now that you have a contract, that's when I have to review the contract, review the terms of the contract, and cross-reference that with the loan that I'm offering. And we will be able to consider locking in your interest rate at that point. Once we receive the contract, you will receive an application disclosure. All supporting documentation will need to be submitted to my processing team and begin processing your loan.
So home inspections. So what happens right now, the home inspection period, it used to be like 10 to 15 days. Right now, if you want an offer to be accepted, you really want to put a 5-day home inspection, be really aggressive. Now I have inspectors from different companies that can come very quickly. They check the home. Remember, in Florida, we're talking about as is contracts. So properties are sold as is. So don't expect the home to be perfect, and don't expect that they're going to be fixing every little thing that is off with the home. We want to make sure that you can get insurance so that things are, safe. But what the inspection is for is things you don't expect. A cracked foundation, settlement issues, major issues. So that might cause you to walk away if it's something major that you didn't expect. Every house is going to have something, and that's to be taken into consideration as you're deciding on home. Now, we're going to do 2 things in the inspection. They're going to order a 4-point and a wind mitigation. Those reports are necessary for you to get insured. Okay, the 4-point and the wind mitigation, the 4-point is required on homes 30 years or older. It checks the 4 main items of a home: the roof, the AC, the plumbing, and the electrical. Okay, that is required on homes 30 years or older. These are included in inspection with anyone I recommend to you. And if you're using someone that you know, which is perfectly fine, you just want to make sure you're getting both of these. Wind mitigation, if the home has a new roof, it'll help keep the cost of insurance down, for example. Okay, and we have gone through this pretty much. This is a little bit more detail on the 4-point and the wind mitigation reports that are required. Now, I have an inspector that within an hour of the inspection will give you a report. So if you are using your own inspector, and we do put a 5-day inspection period, I'm going to check with you beforehand to make sure that you know they can be there. You call them up and you know that they can be there within a day or two. And then when do they get the report? We don't want to be at the last second trying to make decisions. We want to have plenty of time to do that.
Your appraisal, it's ordered through us, the lender. The lender has a third-party company that's contracted by us to have a non-biased appraiser who is not an employee of the bank go out to the property, evaluate the property, compare it to other comparable sales on the market that have closed. Usually it takes about 10 to 14 days from the start to finish in a busy market, much like the one that we're in. It's a 20 to 30 page report that compares the home you are purchasing to other recently sold properties. It gives a current market value at time of the evaluation, and it could have some repairs depending on the condition of the home in order for us to close. These repairs will be noted on the actual appraisal report, and I'll send you a copy myself so that we can go over it together. If anything is needed, I will address it with you and your realtor. If nothing is needed, we will provide you a copy and we proceed with the transaction and close. We're also going to be sending over weekly updates. My team will be sending out weekly updates similar to the one on the screen at the moment. This one will detail where we are with the transaction, what milestone your transaction's in, and any pending documentation or issues that come up. And if everything is great with your loan, like most loans, you will be fine and proceed to closing once you get this update. You just review it for accuracy and we move forward. Once we have everything from you, we submit the file into underwriting. Underwriting is a stage in the process where a lender's underwriter will review everything that your loan officer, myself, put together on the file. They will be reviewing income, credit, and assets. The way that I structured the loan will also be reviewed, cross-referencing your eligibility. The underwriter will be reviewing for accuracy, income calculations accuracy, credit review accuracy, and asset review accuracy. If there's anything that the underwriter feels needs to be questioned, they will be sending over a conditional approval to finalize any conditions or questions and concerns they may have related to your income, credit, or assets. Once it's conditionally approved, we go ahead and gather what the underwriter needs. We touch base with you, the buyer, and the realtor, or any party that's appropriately needed to be contacted to gather what our underwriter needs. Once we get those documents, we will go ahead and submit that over to our processing team for underwriters to review. Once the underwriter reviews it, we get our clear to close. This is when the underwriter reviews all the docs that we turned in and or issues, okay, because some things do require a little bit more work. So she'll be reviewing all of the documents that we provide. They're going to issue a final approval on the file. The compliance team will be reviewing it and a clear to close will be issued. You will be receiving an initial closing disclosure. This must be signed 3 days prior to closing. Lenders try to make this document as accurate as possible to match your final numbers, but please note it may not be 100%. Some lenders count Saturday, but usually do not count Sunday. We do count Saturday at Van Dyke Mortgage. For example, sign documents on Monday. You can close as early as Thursday. Some lenders will send this when you are conditionally approved. Others will send it once you are cleared to close. We personally treat that on a case-by-case basis. The goal is to always get things out of the way sooner than later. So if my team and your help can efficiently get it issued sooner, we will. If it needs to be issued at time of CTC, that is not a problem either. Once we have that CD signed, you're clear to close, we will be able to issue a closing package. We will send the final package to the title company or your attorney. It'll usually occur at the title company.
Okay. So now you've gone through the whole process, you've gotten the loan, and it's time for closing. Congratulations. This usually occurs at the title company. Now we, Rise Miami Group, like we can do every step of the transaction remotely because of COVID. Now things are opening up, things are better. So this would usually occur at the title company and or attorney of the seller's choosing. If for the seller, right? But for the buyer, this would occur at the title company they chose. You will sign all your closing documents. And once finished, the closing agent will send the documents to the lender for funding. And you are officially a homeowner. Usually the money has come in by this point and you are a homeowner, you get keys to your home, and congratulations. So we're very excited to work with you. It's very important to me that you get everything that you need and find the home that you seek. I wanted to make this video to give you an idea of what the process is like if you haven't been through it before. And if you have, just know that this market may not be like any market you've seen before when you were buying a previous home. It's a very aggressive seller's market. There's barely any inventory. And good homes are coming to the market every day, but we want to make sure that we get that home for you, and that's going to require you to be very responsive, decisive, and aggressive. I am prepared to get you the home that you want and wanted to educate you on the process. So please call me. Again, it's Marissa Cruz with the Rise Miami Group. My number is 305-804-7773. Should you have any questions anytime, I am here and happy to help. Have a great day. Bye.